In a quiet mountain town, surrounded by tall pine trees and gentle snowfall, children often gathered in the village square to listen to stories. One story was told more than any other, the story of the Ice Queen. They said she was 20 years old, with long white hair that shimmered like fresh snow under sunlight. They said she lived far beyond the northern ridge, in a palace carved entirely from crystal ice. Most adults smiled when they heard the tale. It's only a legend, they would say. But the children were not so sure. Among those children were 3 close friends. They had heard the story since they were very young. They imagined a tall young queen, age 20, with flowing white hair and calm blue eyes. In their imagination, she always had the same gentle face and the same graceful height, elegant, peaceful, and mysterious. One day, curiosity grew stronger than doubt. What if she is real? One of them asked. The others laughed, but not completely. The next morning, they began walking toward the northern ridge. The path was quiet. Snow crunched softly beneath their boots. The mountains stood tall and silent ahead of them. They told themselves it was only an adventure, only a game. After hours of walking, they reached a place no adult had ever described clearly, and there, in the distance, something sparkled. It was not imagination. A palace stood before them, carved from translucent ice. Sunlight reflected through its towers, creating soft rainbow colors across the snow. The children froze in place. This isn't just a story, one whispered. Their hearts raced, not with danger, but with disbelief. The great doors of the palace slowly opened, and she stepped out. She was exactly as the stories described, 20 years old. Long white hair flowing gently in the cold wind, the same graceful height they had imagined, the same calm, gentle face. The Ice Queen was real. The children stepped backward. Their adventure suddenly felt very serious. One of them held the other's hand tightly. The queen looked at them, not with anger, but with curiosity. She had not seen visitors in many years. Sensing their fear, the Ice Queen gently raised her hand. Snowflakes lifted into the air like tiny stars. They spun slowly, forming glowing patterns above the children. The snow did not feel cold. It felt magical. The children stared in amazement. This was not something frightening. It was beautiful. The youngest child stepped forward. You're not a story, she said quietly. The queen smiled. No, she replied gently, but I am not something to fear. With a simple gesture, she shaped snow into small animals, rabbits, birds, and sparkling butterflies made of ice. The children laughed. Their fear disappeared. She invited them into her palace gardens. Inside, there were frozen fountains that shimmered like diamonds, crystal trees that chimed softly when the wind touched them. The queen created a smooth, frozen lake. The children slid across it, laughing freely. For the first time, the palace felt warm, even in the snow. For years, the Ice Queen had lived alone. She had mastered her power. She had built magnificent structures of crystal, but she had never shared them. That day, she realized something important. Such power means little without someone to share it with. As the sun began to set, golden light reflected across the ice walls. The queen created shimmering snowflakes that floated like lanterns in the sky. The children sat beside her, no longer afraid. They listened to her stories of winter winds and northern lights. The mountains felt peaceful. Eventually, the sky darkened. The children knew it was time to return home. The queen walked them to the edge of the ridge. Will we see you again? One asked. She smiled softly. You already have. They understood. Some stories are real, but they reveal themselves only to the brave. The children returned to the village and told everyone what they had seen. Most adults still smiled, but now, when snow sparkled in unusual patterns, when distant mountains glowed at sunrise, the children knew the Ice Queen was real. And somewhere beyond the northern ridge, a young queen with white hair stood quietly, smiling, remembering the day laughter filled her palace, because even a queen of ice can feel warmth not from fire, but from friendship.